or you're going to get 33 votes. I'm sick and tired of white people setting the standard for our children. Benson High School, the little racists had white adults decide to put out a paper dealing with the N-word. White adults, white children are the ones on the paper and decided to do this. And it come up with the conclusion that if you put A on the end of the word, instead of ER, it's a term of endearment. These white people are talking about this word that is the most degrading, insulting word that can be used for us. The World Herald praised them. White people praise them. They say these white students have courage. If I use profanity, you'd hear me use it on the floor this morning. But I'm not like white people. I won't do that. But they're going to get some of these white kids hurt. You use that word with an A or an ER, and I would tell any black child, bust him in the mouth, knock his teeth out, teach him what these white people will not teach them. You're going to have these white people in a school predominantly black, with predominantly white teachers, teaching these white children that it's all right to use that word, that it can be cleaned up. You clean up manure by spraying perfume on it, and then I'll tell you can clean up these words. That's what white people do. Then they want to tell me I shouldn't be offended. They're not the ones to determine what insulting things are all right for our children. Now, if somebody in here had a child who's in special education and I ridicule that child, that person would be offended and outraged. But when it comes to our children, it does not count. White people know. And this little white girl who is the editor of the paper is saying, well, we did just what we wanted to do. We wanted to have discussion. Well, in one of the elementary schools, a white boy called a black child that word with an A on the end of it and said, you have to let me call you that because it's all right. Well, that child didn't hit him back. He called him white trailer trash peckerwood. And he was sent to the office and told, we don't allow name calling here, but nothing was said to the white child. And then when this black child, who is insulted, hits that white child in the mouth, the black child is expelled. You all create impossible conditions for our children. Do it among the adults so that an adult can test it on me. Use that word with me and let me give a whipping or take a whipping. But don't put my child in a classroom setting and these white people are going to decide that it's all right to play with that word. This is not playtime when you deal with that word. This is a dangerous game you're putting those little racists in.
1 minute.
You're starting them out young and telling them, you be just like me. And we're not going to teach people that this language is inappropriate. We're going to teach you that it is all right. And tell these black children, you have to accept it because white people own you. And when the black parents were outraged, the World Herald didn't talk about that. They talked about how outraged these white people got when the principal was put on paid leave. And because white people got upset, they brought her back. But what about our feelings? The feelings of our children who go to these schools controlled by white people. Then that education committee thinks they're going to get a bill through this legislature that leaves everything as it is. Well, as long as I have breath in my body and I'm a member of this legislature, I will fight that bill. And if you get 33 votes, I will fight every other bill. And you need to know where things are. And the only way you know is if I tell you. Why don't they do that to me? I can defend myself.
Time, Senator.
And I will. But our children, I'll die and go to hell 10 times for our children.